Welcome to FNF Victory Road Draft League Season 2 Team Analysis. This team analysis series is going to be where I interview the coaches of the other teams in the league, or mine eventually will be coming as well. All teams will be analyzed, and this week we have Rio Grande Rapidash, which was led by Emberhoof. So we're going to start and go into the team analysis process. So Ember, if you want to say hello.
Hello.
So we got a lot to cover. First, we're going to look at the team name and logo. You did have Rio Grande Rapidash as your team name last time, but you changed the logo this time. It looks really cool. I actually like this logo a lot. So share as to why you chose this team name and logo.
Alright, so last season I had the name Rio Grande Rapidash because for those of you who didn't watch last season and just started this season and don't know why I have it, I live in Colorado, and there is a river that goes through Colorado called the Rio Grande River, and felt like a little nice name to keep close to home, you know. And then Rapidash, my big thing is I really like horses, so seemed kind of fitting, and it's got the nice little alliteration thing with Rio and Rapidash. Contrary to what anybody says, it has nothing to do with Brazil.
I was just going to mention how I thought that it was a Brazil reference.
But yeah, it is from Colorado, and I think it's a lot of states in the mountain range in this area, like Wyoming, and I think it goes out through Texas into the Gulf of Mexico. So,
little piece of home and a nice logo. These are both card art, right?
Yeah, these are card art. Last season I just had both forms of Rapidash on a blue background, but I wasn't really vibing with that all that much. I think I put way too much thought into it, and then it just ended up coming out like disgusting. I'm talking about my season 1. I'm sorry if I made that a little weird. So this season I really wanted to mix it up, and with the logo I was really thinking just going to DeviantArt and getting some really high res images, and then doing the fiery Rapidash on one side in all red and flame colors, and then going into a more pixie art style for the Galarian Rapidash, but it didn't come to fruition. It looked really disgusting. So I actually sought the help of, I think it was you, Noel. I think I bounced around from Morgana, and then I think Noob Scrub at some point. It was either Noob Scrub or Colin or somebody, and then I finally came to you, and it turned out really well.
I know it's me because it has the gradient in the text. I love doing that.
and I really like the Rapidash card art for the fire one specifically. I don't know what card art that one is, but I really want that card.
Yeah, it's really nice. I like so much of the card art's so good. It's really dynamic. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I really like the 2D, like the 2D 3D one, the one where it's all 3D but it's like hand drawn.
Mm-hmm.
The lifelike card art, that I just did not like it. It looked a little too real, and I just didn't like it. I don't know who the card artists are, but they all look good. I just don't vibe with the 3D clay ones all that much. They kind of disturb me.
I want to say who the artist's name is for the left, but like it's escaping me. But there are some really good card artists out there, and like card art's just amazing in general, and it looks good. This logo looks really nice.
One little fun fact before we move on here. Originally I thought the name Rio Grande Rapidash was cursed because of my performance last season, going 1-5 in the first 6 weeks. So I was honestly heavily considering retiring the name and swapping it over to like the Clef Keyblades, because Clef Key's a kind of okay mon. I don't have any beef with it, and then Keyblades because I really like Kingdom Hearts. But yeah, then after that I realized maybe it was just a fluke, and I figured I would give this name another chance.
I'm glad you did, because I think you did the name well, and we're gonna see how you did in this video. Definitely a cool team concept, I think. And actually, we could segue into the first team. Actually, not the first team, the team, because you did not make any exchanges. So, what was your thought process behind drafting this team?
My mindset behind this team, it was a very similar idea to last season. What I wanted to do was get all of my types covered, and I wasn't really worried too much about weaknesses or anything. I just wanted to have one of every single type. So like one of rock, one of fairy, one of flying, so on for the other 15 types. Low-key, my draft turned out really good to my initial idea. I think I only got sniped twice, and it was on the last two with Dusclops and Lantern. I originally wanted Dusk Noir and Rotom Freezer. But I don't remember who sniped me on those, but I remember me being at work for those and then hearing, oh, Dusclops and Lantern got sniped. Dusk Noir was a really easy fix, though, and I think Dusclops ended up being a lot better, but
yeah.
When I heard Rotom Freeze got sniped, I did not know what to do.
Yeah, I remember talking to you, actually, because you were like, Noel, what do I do? And I was like, oh, give Lantern a try, because Lantern is really cool. I like Lantern a lot, and I'm glad that you use Lantern a lot, actually.
Yeah, Lantern was a really good pivotal mon. I did not know it got both Toxic and Dazzling Gleam. Dazzling Gleam just seems like a really out of left field move for Lantern.
I guess
with a Toxic, but
I guess because it has like that angler light, so the Gleam is, I don't know. Toxic though, like most Pokemon can get Toxic if they learn TMs. Not anymore in Gen 8. I think they took that out. But Lantern getting Dazzling Gleam is definitely a really nice little touch for Lantern's move pool.
I mean, I honestly don't really know how I went from the past 2 seasons being probably the most sniped person. I remember in preseason, I got sniped 30 some odd times, including Z Crystal, I might add.
Oh yeah, because we used to have to draft the crystal. And then last season I got sniped, I think it was 11 times total, so significantly less, and that's why I like this style better than just the 3-0, U3U, U3R, U3NU. Yeah.
And this time I only got sniped twice. It was weird, and I was sitting here thinking, how the hell is this working? You mean to tell me nobody wants Dragalge or Milotic or, surprisingly, Crocodile? I don't think I got Crocodile Frame 1. I think I got Milotic Frame 1.
Yeah, Milotic was your first pick.
And then I held out on Tornadus T, because I was sitting here thinking nobody's going to draft it. I got time. And then nobody drafted it. And then it was like around my 5th or 6th round. I just said, yeah, I'm getting too lucky. I'm getting this while I have the chance. Other big ones that I think we're gonna probably get sniped for me were Mega Diancie, surprisingly, because there were a lot of newer people this season and new strategies, and I was expecting it to get sniped like before I got it, which I think was like round 4. Because most people want to get their tier 1 and then they want to get their Mega.
I was surprised actually that no one went for Diancie.
Yeah, if you're surprised nobody wanted Mega Diancie this season until I got it, just wait till I draft my Mega next season.
I'm curious to see how that goes.
No, I don't think anybody's gonna snipe it, mostly because everybody wants the tier 1s, and I'm telling you right now, it's not a tier 1. I think I had better luck with Mega Aggron in season 1 than I did with Mega Diancie, but that's a whole different thing for another time. Probably later in this interview.
One thing I did want to point out too is that you have some repeat Pokemon from last time, Exploud and Rapidash specifically.
Yeah, Rapidash, I believe we went over this. Rapidash is kind of my mascot Pokemon with the team name. I have a moral obligation to draft it, and it does wonders. I'm really surprised it's tier 5. I could have sworn after season 1 it was going to go up to tier 4. And Exploud, while it's not my team mascot, it is kind of my favorite Pokemon. And it also just so happens it's a really good wall breaker that nobody really sees the potential of.
Exploud and Trick Room. We'll see later in this video.
I mean, 61 speed, it's kind of a write-off. And then, it doesn't have this most stellar of defenses, but oh boy, if you've seen a special attack thing from Exploud, you know it's not something to mess around with.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, this was a pretty good draft, I'd say, just because, like you said, you had all the types covered. You had Pokemon that could defend, too. You had Pokemon that could attack. So you kind of had a little bit of everything, just like last season. And I think you utilized it well.
I did not expect Trick Room to work so well with this team, because I did use Trick Room a couple times this season. I knew Musharna and Dusclops would have been fantastic in it, but I did not know everybody else was going to do well with it. Especially like Torrentee, Crocodile, and Diancie of all Pokemon. Everybody else, it's probably better.
Yeah, because you have quite a few slow Pokemon, so... and a lot of people went fast this league because they were going hyper offense, so I think you definitely use that to your benefit.
I think they feared Noob Scrub's bulk a little too much. We all know Noob Scrub.
That, and for some reason everybody was just on the hyper offense train. I'm not even sure why. And next season everyone's going to go on the Salt train, I feel like. So...
On the Salt train?
On the Stall train.
Oh, the Stall train. I mean, well, we'll have to wait and see on that. If everybody does go on the Stall train, I think Noob Scrub might be the captain of it. Because he is literally the king of Stall.
He's probably not going to be too happy, considering this time he was able to get so many good Stallmons because everybody else was going hyper offense. If everybody's going Stall next time, then he's going to lose a lot of his picks, so...
Yeah, Celesteela is going to be gone frame 1.
Oh yeah, Celesteela.
I wouldn't be surprised if somebody tries to snipe Mega Venusaur from him.
That I'm not sure, but Celesteela for sure I could see somebody going for.
I don't remember his primary defensive mons outside of those two, but chances are if they're half as good as those two, they're going to be gone first or second round.
He had a lot of good ones.
I mean, I'm not going to lie, I would love to go into the Stall game myself, seeing as how I hate it that much. But you know the saying, if you can't beat them, join them.
Join them, yeah. Maybe that's why people are going to go Stall next time. We'll see. But anyways, let's take a look at the battle record. So overall, we got your battle record here. Overall, rank 5, tied with Noob Scrub, actually. And overall, how did you think you did in the regular season?
Overall, in the regular season, I feel like I did a major step up than I did in my debut season, for lack of a better term, season 1. The records, they're really close, because last season I went 4-6, this season I broke even. But overall, I can't really get mad about this. Most of my losses, they were really close, either 2-0 or 1-0. And I'm huge. I feel really good that I was able to beat two people who I really feared from last season, and also kind of this season, being Quest and Startoad. I think Startoad placed like 2nd or 3rd last season. So seeing him re-enter and then having me fight him week 6, it just scared me. And then I have the fun rivalry with Quest, me losing like twice to him. So.
Actually, you managed to beat by 4 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place of Victory Road Season 1. Because Quest got 2nd, Colin got 3rd, and Startoad got 4th.
Yeah, that was a really cool sight to see. I don't know if it was just because of the chemistry with the team or because half the time I wasn't overthinking. I mean, there were 3 matches that we'll go into later that I was just freaking out about. And then But yeah, those three that I was really worried about and freaking out more than anything. It's glad that I did relatively well in those.
So, like you mentioned, overall, -2 or -1 losses, but then also wins were at least +3, or +4, which was really good too. So overall, it seemed like you had a really good season compared to last season, and definitely some improvement. In terms of who you were most scared to face and who you were most excited to face, were there any teams that fit those descriptions?
Definitely the most scared teams to face. I was definitely afraid of fighting like Noob Scrub because, well, we know me and my stance on hyper defense. And me not necessarily liking it, so knowing that I would have had to eventually fight him at some point. I think around week 6 we were joking about how we were gonna end up having to fight each other. It kind of scared me a little bit. Quest was another person who I was really scared to face, and we saw that in the battle a lot because it was like a 68-minute battle.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was having a panic attack through that whole fight. Like, I can't stress this enough. Because I really needed I really wanted to win that just to kind of prove myself, for lack of a better term. And I'm glad I did beat him, but I feel like I could have done it without the panic attack. Like, I honestly was just freaking out. I think it was the nerves that got to me there. In regards to the teams I was most excited to face, in the team and season analysis last year, I mentioned I wanted to fight Colin and I wanted to fight you. And it just so happens I got to fight both you and him this season, so that pretty much covers that relatively well. It was really fun to fight Colin. It was a really close fight between the two of us. We're going to have like a good 10-minute chit-chat on our fight.
It was close. You had me sweating.
Man, Dustclop Seismic Toss low-key good.
Oh my gosh, Dustclops is amazing. I'm really glad that you were able to get Dustclops instead of Dusk Noir, honestly, because I think Dustclops fit on your team better.
Man, the Eviolite would have boosted its defenses more than what I could do with Dusk Noir, so... Yeah, Dustclops I feel like would have been the better choice. I just wanted Dusk Noir because I thought Dustclops was going to go first.
Yeah, I'm surprised it didn't go until you got it, because it's really good. But... I
mean, they both went in the same round, I believe. Like, I think Dusk Noir went like 3 trainers before me. I don't remember who drafted it or what it was, but Dustclops was like my second to last pick, I think.
King Fuse got Dusk Noir.
King Fuse.
Oh yeah, and before we go on to the battles, I'll mention that the last one in the regular season, not the playoffs, was a forfeit win just because the battle couldn't occur, which is unfortunate, but it happens. I mean, so
yeah, I think King Fuse said he was going up to a cabin or something. I don't remember all the details, but he was up for the weekend, and I think I had that weekend off from work. And so that was like the only time I would have been able to fight.
Just unfortunate timing. But anyways, we'll move on to the specific battles now.
Alright.
So your first battle was versus Drizzle Boy and the Harlem Gloomtrotters, and this was a 3-0 victory for you. And Rapidash was really the star of this one.
Yeah, Rapidash got 4 kills. If I remember correctly, it was Metacham, Flareon, Raikou, and Ferrothorn.
Yes.
It was not in that order, but I know Flareon died to a high horsepower, and then the other 3 died to Flare Blitzes.
Yeah.
And then Ferrothorn died last, and then Rapidash died to Iron Barbs. But yeah, there was a lot happening in the time leading up to this match. Like the second I found out I was fighting Drizzle, it was like, okay, new person. Let's time to go figure out their playstyle. Very next day after that happened, I got a DM from Drizzle Boy, I believe, saying that he was ready to go, and I'm not gonna lie, he started psyching me out in the DMs, and it kind of came off as like him being arrogant to me. Like he was being arrogant, like cocky, he was gonna easily wipe the floor with me. So right before this battle, I started psyching myself out, thinking, oh my god, I have to prove myself, I have to beat him pretty much. And like right before the battle, I was just like DMing people, essentially asking them to break the rules and walk through the fight with me. Luckily no one did. But this fight really did scare me. It was the first match of the season with a whole new team, and I don't know, I think it was just 90% nerves.
Yeah, I think you mentioned that we ended up talking, like, Drizzle Boy and I think after his third match or something, saying like, okay, no more psyching people out, and he listened, which is good. I
mean, another funny thing that happened was I think he also asked me in the actual channel for a sneak peek of my team, and everybody was like, come on, don't do that. And it's like, no. I told him, no, I'll show him. And everybody was freaking out, being like, you're essentially handing him the game with this. And then I just sent him a blank team. I think it was only Exploud with the nickname Nice Try. and it was just a blank set. And it was I'm not gonna lie, that was probably the funniest thing ever to me.
And Exploud didn't even appear.
Exploud didn't even appear. I think it was either Exploud or Rapidash. I don't think it was both. But it was still probably the funniest thing.
Something worthy of note in this match is just how useful Dragalge was to you. It doesn't show in the differential, but it was a really good switch into so many Pokemon, such as Ferrothorn, Raikou, and
right.
It was able to really pressure a lot of switches and weaken things, and then Rapidash was able to clean up after.
And then you know, funny little thing with Crocodile, that one kill was on Latios, and I think it was just like the biggest power grab right there, because he swapped into Latios when I clicked knockoff, and I wasn't even predicting the switch. I just clicked knockoff because it was stab, and the mon that was out, I think it was Raikou. It was either Raikou or Rhydon, or one of those two. And the knockoff would have killed. And he just swapped into Latios, and I kind of did a small pop-off when that happened, because Latios really scared me.
Yeah, I think he was expecting the Earthquake, so that's probably why. I actually did the same exact thing at one point. I forgot if it was in my battle versus you, or if it was versus Edgar last season. I think it was versus you, where I switched in expecting an Earthquake from Crook, and I got knocked off, and it sucked. But
yeah, I don't remember much of our battle other than the 1-0, and it was essentially decided because of Sand Rush.
Excadrill moment, but we'll get to that.
Well, we'll come back to that. I was not expecting Drizzle Boy to be that good. Normally the first season's always the worst, and he ended up doing relatively well. I think he just barely missed out of playoffs, tying 9th.
I think he barely missed out on playoffs. Like, he was really close. I don't know if he got 9th or not, but yeah, he was really close.
He was really close, and I think Slurpuff kind of carried his team a lot. Like just full stop, because I saw him bring Slurpuff a lot, and Slurpuff is kind of scary because it gets Z Belly Drum and play rough.
Well, even more scary, the Unburdened Belly Drum.
Remind me again what Unburdened does? I keep forgetting what that does.
It doubles your speed once you use your item. So.
Okay. Yeah. If he had Slurpuff against me, I would have probably lost this fight, which I don't know if he even had Slurpuff at the time.
He did. Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't bring it, but I think maybe because you had Rapidash or Milotic. I'm not sure, but
a lot of bulky mons that would have probably just eaten up a bunch of play roughs and just ended it.
Oh, probably because he had Fortress.
Probably Fortress.
But this was a really good victory for you, and I think it was a nice start to the season.
Yeah, it was much different than my start last season, like probably the exact opposite, as I lost game 1 last season, or week 1, whichever.
Yeah, so you went in with a win this season, which is good, and your second week was versus Zequigs and the team I Like Corsola.
That I'm not gonna lie, that is a 10 out of 10 name right there, as well as the logo. It's literally a close-up on Corsola's face with an explosion.
I love the using grass type as cheats.
Week 2 with Corsola, this was kind of the debut battle for like the rest of the team, I think. It was all the new Pokemon. It was Dusclops, Fortress, Lantern, and Breloom. And then, Torrentee and Crocodile just decided they were going to come again. And I mean, they were kind of my go-to sweepers, I think. Like, my fast sweepers, so... I couldn't think of a situation where I wouldn't have brought those two. But I mean, it all turned out well. I honestly don't remember a whole lot as to what happened here. I know a Willow missed with Dusclops, and that kind of hurt because I think I tried Willowing the Scizor, and it missed, and then Crook got burned. And then I don't really know what happened. All I remember is that Torrentee also got burned, and I don't remember how.
In this battle, basically, Muck was the bane of your existence.
Yeah,
it was a really hard wall for you to take down, and when he used Fire Blast on Crook got burnt, and that was really unfortunate because
I couldn't kill with Earthquake.
Yeah, and also you had a Z Fire move on Crook, I think probably Fire Fang, to hit Scizor, and because you were burnt, it didn't kill when normally it would have. So I think that really hampered your team in this game. Once you took down Muckalola, it was a little bit easier for you, but the end, I believe, Whimsicott was able to finish off. I'm not sure, and it got closer.
I thought it was I think it was Corsola who got the finishing blow.
Yeah, actually it was Corsola. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, Corsola's got some bulk to it, and I knew he was going to bring Corsola, which is why I brought Breloom. Breloom was just there to bullet seed it to hell. And it didn't really end well for me. I think Breloom died before I had a chance to bullet seed it.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because of Gyarados. But still, it was not a bad loss. It was definitely a close one. And if the Fire Blast hadn't burned, I think it would have been even closer. So
I don't really know how to say this in any other way than I just got genuinely outplayed, but I think my burn missing and then the Fire Blasts burning me, I think that did a lot more against me than what I like to lead on. I do feel I did get genuinely outplayed here, but the burns just did not help.
Yeah, Pokemon moment.
Low-key, Z-Kigs did have a really good start. I don't know what happened or where he finished, but I mean, I got a grudge match to settle with him, so I want to make sure that the burns actually mattered.
He definitely had a really fun team, that's for sure. I really liked his team a lot.
Yeah, I want that grudge match. I want to see whether or not I got burned, if that mattered more or not. Like, we bring the same teams, we just grudge match it. Those burns are just unlucky. I think it was mostly the burns, and I'm just gonna keep telling myself that, just to put it past me.
He played really well. You played really well too, so not sure what would have happened if the burns didn't happen, but it was definitely close either way, so.
Yeah.
Anyways, we move on to Blitz City Haxorus, which is Colin's team.
Yep.
And
formerly the Appleton Allegiance.
The former Appleton Allegiance, that's right. And in this one, you used Trick Room for the first time, and it looks like Exploud and Dragalge went to town.
Yeah. My whole thing going into this, I was sitting here freaking out because I completely forgot Musharna and Dusclops and Mega Diancie all get Trick Room. Mega Diancie getting Trick Room, that was a surprise to me. It also gets Wonder Room, but I don't know what Wonder Room does.
It prevents items from working.
Ah, okay. But yeah, Trick Room, I was talking with Colin after this match, and he said the second he saw Musharna, he knew it was a Trick Room team, and he felt kind of screwed.
Yeah, his team was all really fast, so Trick Room was definitely the way to go versus him.
Yeah. I mean, I was not. I thought Serena was like really, really slow. I thought Serena had like 40 speed, so I thought Serena was gonna just check my entire team unless your name's Dragalge. I'm pretty sure it also gets like knockoff or something.
It gets knockoff. It's like not slow, it's not fast. It's like a 70 awkward speed tier.
70 and 80 are those weird, they're the weird speeds where they're not slow to really work in Trick Room, but they aren't fast to keep up with everybody else. It's just weird.
Yeah, exactly.
This fight right here really got to show what Exploud can really do in the right situation.
Yeah.
I feel like I could have gotten away with foddering off Dusclops and Musharna a little bit more if Trick Room was affected by Terrain Extender, which is not. But, I mean, all around, this was a really good match, and I mean, we had the Wally's theme from Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire for this. I remember that vividly, as we were coming off of a week where I tried to send you a Siva Gunner rip of, I don't remember what the theme was, but it was something where the rip was essentially a Christmas song, and I wanted to see if it was subtle enough to the point where you wouldn't notice it.
It was really subtle. Like, I noticed it, but it was subtle. I forgot which one it was, but yeah.
It was. I think it was an early town. I don't want to say it was Azalea Town, but it was something early on.
I think it was. What was it? An early town in Gen 5.
Gen 2.
Oh, Gen 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was one of your. It was one of your favorite themes. I don't remember, but the music isn't the important part here. But originally the Wally's theme was going to be a completely obvious Siva Gunner rip, like you would have noticed it within like 2 seconds. But I mean, it really works out well. Me and Colin, we're good friends, and it was a really good match. I can't get mad at the outcome. It was really good on my end, and I honestly thought Rotom Wash or Megalopony or Serena or somebody was going to taunt me so I couldn't use Trick Room, and if that had happened, that's why I had Crocodile not with the minus speed and the 0 IVs and all that. That was just straight up Scarf Crocodile, because that was my failsafe. It was like Earthquake, Rock Slide, Knockoff, and some fourth move. I think it might have been Fire Fang again. I don't remember. I didn't even use Crocodile because Exploud did all the work.
Yeah, Exploud Boom Burst. That's all you need to know.
Modest Choice Specs 252 special attack. Put the other 256 somewhere else. Probably defense. It does wonders, and I mean that alone could probably put Exploud in tier 3. But if it goes to tier 3, I will have a bitch fit. It will die in tier 3.
Yeah, I think it's fine in 4, but we'll see. I'm pretty sure it's fine in 4.
Well, we'll have to consult the brain trust to see where everything goes. But this was a good match. I can't get mad at a 4-0. I think Colin was having a rough week that week because he was just having a field day over the loss.
It was a little bit of a rough week, but
I mean, he was a little bitter, and I mean, I know the feeling because I get bitter a lot. We've seen me get bitter, but I think it was just a rough week, and I think he bounced back relatively well. I think he won the next week. I don't remember.
I think so. I'm pretty sure, but
I mean, I would love to fight Colin again in a season 3 if he joins. I know he's been showing signs of maybe not wanting to enter, but I mean, I might be able to convince him to join it.
I was expecting a rematch between you two in playoffs if he made it.
Yeah, it would have been good. It would have been good to fight him in playoffs again. See if he would fall for the trick room thing again.
He would have probably really been conscious of that. I think probably with camera up or something.
Yeah, he would have probably at least packed a taunt on, but yeah, it kind of sucks that Colin didn't make playoffs either. I mean, there's a lot of people this season who I wanted to rematch in playoffs.
It was a close race, the playoffs race.
Yeah, and I think Roland almost made playoffs as well because he got onto a real good roll there.
Pun intended.
At the end of the season, I think he finished 4-6. Maybe a 3-7.
3-7, yeah.
Yeah, and that last spot that me and Star Toad ended up getting, that was really contested.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk more about playoffs as it comes, but for now, we got our next match in the regular season versus Morgana's team, Northern Necrozmas.
Northern Necrozmas. This one I was 100% outplayed on, and I was pretty bitter after this one. I don't think I showed it as much as I could have showed it, but I was at least a little bitter. I was packing Trick Room again, but it was like Trick Room wasn't the primary focus. Musharna and Explode are still there, but they just kind of... Well, Musharna actually put in work. Explode just kind of rolled over and died. After, getting some chip damage, probably. I don't remember the whole fight.
The Hitmonlee just seems really good in the matchup. And this is when he used Hitmonlee with Unburden.
And it was Curse Unburden, and I just nudged my keyboard. But it was a Curse Unburden, and I didn't know what Unburden did. I thought it was Scarfed because it all of a sudden just outsped Tornadus Therian. And then it just Stone Edged it. But I genuinely got outplayed here, and I don't really know what to say other than I do not like Unburden, and Unburden is genuinely scary.
Yeah, Hitmonlee could be pretty scary.
It's not necessarily just Hitmonlee. Hitmontop, and I'm pretty sure Hitmonchan also get Unburden, and they're pretty scary also.
Oh, Hitmontop doesn't. Hitmontop gets Intimidate, and then Hitmonchan, Iron Fist. Slurpuff gets Unburden, and Driftblim. There's one more I'm forgetting. Oh, Sceptile, I think. Yeah, Sceptile. It's a really good ability.
Yeah, it kind of scares me how Unburden works. Mucha Lucha, I think, also gets Unburden.
Oh yeah, Halucha, the original Unburden Mon. Not original, but the most notable. But
yeah, Hitmonlee, that was kind of the bane of my existence in this fight. I think it lived on 3%. It was
yeah, you
really
almost
tiny.
got it and then couldn't. But
I want to say that was a min roll, but I didn't run the calcs on it because if I had somehow did kill it, I would still have to get through like Necrozma, I think, and Necrozma could just end my existence.
But still,
we all know what Necrozma can do. It was close though. I can't get mad.
Yeah, like most of your other losses, it was close.
I can be bitter about it all I want, but I was genuinely outplayed here, and I did get my shot at redemption later in the season against Morgana, but we'll come back to that later.
Yeah. Alright, well, next is versus Quest versus Victini, and this was a really interesting matchup because, like you said, you had a history with Quest, and you definitely wanted to win this one.
I believe in preseason, I lost a 4-0 against him. I don't remember the preseason all that well because that was 8 months ago, I think, minimum. It was like in November or October or something.
Yeah, it was a while.
But I remember losing pretty bad to him. I remember losing all my matches in preseason. And then I fought him in week 1 of season 1, and I lost in a 2-0 due to something. I think it was just the bulk that got to me. Here, yeah, this was a really scary match. I think I had to request secondary help from Noob Scrub here because he knows Empoleon, so he would know how to make it work. He knows its strengths and weaknesses. Boo is another one of those mons that I just have so much beef with because I can't do anything to it, and it has a fantastic move pool. Didn't know it got, I think it was Rock Slide or Stone Edge or something. Stone Edge. It was some kind of rock move. But I was not expecting Boo to have that. Sigalith, mad respect for Sigalith. It gets Ice Beam, it gets Energy Ball. That kind of checked my whole team. As Ice Beam, it checks Diancie and Tornadus and Breloom and Crook, and to some extent Dragalge.
It has a surprising move pool, to say the least. Ice Beam and Energy Ball on a Psychic Flying.
And then, it gets Energy Ball, which scares my Milotic out. And I think he used Energy Ball in this fight. I don't remember if he had Ice Beam or not. But it did mad damage to my Milotic. Even with the Marvel Scale and the max defense, which I think was actually special defense.
Yeah, Milotic, though, was your ironclad wall in this one, being able to shrug off a lot of the damage dealt to it. And ultimately, it was probably your most important Pokemon in this fight. You just needed to find a way to take Tapu Bulu down, and then once you did, Milotic was fine.
I remember I had, a full-on panic attack. I was, frozen for, a good 14 minutes. 14, 15 minutes. And I noticed that while watching the video back. It was just really hard to watch just because I knew what was happening on my end, and somebody left a funny comment saying, "Man, this is fun to watch at 2 times speed." Which I did watch it at 2 times speed just to make funny. Yeah, it was kind of funny to watch. Just hearing everybody talk a lot faster.
But yeah, this was a good win for you, I think. I think it gave you a little confidence moving forward.
Because I don't really have the best history when it comes to playing against Quest, so beating somebody who I once lost to pretty bad, and then also kicking off Season 1, not losing kind of close, but still kind of being a big loss, it was kind of a pretty big boost in morale to win this one, and by 4-0 no less. Trust me when I say I was willing to sit and play the whole Scald thing out for the for the rest of the match, but then what happened was after the second Scald, I know Colin was watching. He just DM'd me saying, "Stop playing with your food, just finish it."
So that's why you switched to Breloom?
Kinda, yeah, but I was ready to stall it out.
Well, you would have given Milotic the +4 instead of the +3.
Yeah, I think that would have probably put Milotic in the top 10 for MVP race at that point. Because from 5 down to 12, it was all the difference of 1 point.
Yeah, it was close in the bottom half of the MVP race.
And I mean, I knew that I was going to have to go to work here soon, or maybe I was getting called in. I don't remember. That was a weird gray area. All I know is that I had something to do with work that week, so I kind of figured if I'm going to stall this out, then yeah, we're going to have to make it go a little bit quicker. But yeah, Colin DMing me saying, pretty much telling me to stop playing with my food. That was pretty much yeah, I'm going to end it now. And then Breloom, Bullet Seed, and then that's the fight. But this fight really did scare me. Just thinking about it is making me nervous because I don't want to ever endure something like that ever again. A fight that really scares me. Just give it 2 weeks.
Well, you face Quest again later, so... but we'll go over that when it happens. The next one, though, is versus Startoad, another formidable opponent.
Startoad was genuinely scary. I think it was. I think this was another week where I was seeking the help of multiple people. I don't remember who had a Galissapod, but I remember vividly fighting a Galissapod in one of these few weeks.
I don't think anybody did have a Galissapod.
I don't remember where it was, but I remember fighting a Galissapod. I think it was probably here with Startoad, but I don't remember all the details. It was either Quest or Startoad who had the Galissapod. But
or maybe you're thinking Araquanid?
I was thinking of Araquanid, but I remember vividly preparing for a Galissapod.
And that's weird. No one drafted it.
I think it might have been an exchange thing. I don't remember all that well, but I remember Galissapod vividly. It might have been a later match. I don't know, but there was a Galissapod that I remember preparing for, and I'm sitting here freaking out, thinking I'm gonna get my butt kicked by a giant bug spider, water spider. There we go. Messed up my words there. But I mean, just looking at the team he brought, it's scary because we have Magneton, who can. I think he gets Magnet Pull as an ability.
Yeah.
Which keeps steals in. Crobat, which is just Crobat. Mamoswine, who can hit really hard and can also take a hit relatively well. I remember my Breloom had Yache Berry specifically for Mamoswine because the priority ice move, Ice Shard, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, that actually worked out in your favor.
I think I calced it with my spread. I think on a max roll it did 70. It would have done 73, and then Drain Punch kills Mamoswine because stab and quad weak. And that was my whole strategy with Breloom. And then after I got rid of Mamoswine and pretty much Magneton or Araquanid or whichever one it is, it was pretty much set up, sweep, easy win. It would have been an easy win at that point because I was scared of Mamoswine, and I don't remember if it was Magneton or Araquanid, but
I think Magneton, because once it went down, Milotic had a way easier time, and Lantern was really good in taking down Magneton because it had Volt Absorb.
And then I know Araquanid gets like Water Bubble as an ability, which prevents burns.
Yeah.
So when I'm sitting here clicking Scald, like, come on, burn, and then it's just not burning, so I completely forgot what Water Bubble does. I think I actually used Will-O-Wisp on Dusclops, and it didn't burn when I clicked Will-O-Wisp.
Yeah, I remember that.
I'm just sitting here like, come on, burn. I need a burn here. And I don't even think Araquanid's a good physical sweeper, I don't think. I think it has like 80 attack, maybe. I know its primary stat is special defense with 131.
Water Bubble makes it a lot stronger because it's like huge power for water moves. It was the Pokemon probably that you had the most trouble with, but you were able to handle it because you had Milotic.
Milotic, and then I think Lantern had Volt Absorb, I believe.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I know it gets Water Absorb and Volt Absorb, and I was going back and forth on those two.
Yeah, I think you ran Volt Absorb. I remember you telling me because it was a Magneton counter, and it worked really well in that regard.
Yeah, those three Pokemon, Mamoswine, Magneton, and Araquanid, those were the real scary mons on his team. Everything else I felt like I could just handle. And not necessarily prettily, but it ended up being a pretty good win.
Yeah, definitely.
With a 4-0, and then everybody at least getting some kind of screen time. I know Exploud did a good job breaking some walls. Yeah, I think it crippled Araquanid and Magneton. I don't remember if it did anything to Crobat or Gardevoir or anything, but I know Araquanid and Magneton they had a Boom Burst thrown their way, but it didn't kill.
Yeah.
Because special defense.
It did a lot, though.
Exploud, while not getting any kills or deaths, he has kind of an unsung hero because he did kind of shut down a few mons, made him harder to switch in. All around that was a really good fight. I know Star Toad just kind of slid into playoffs through the tiebreaker, and I'm not gonna lie, I would have loved to rematch him in playoffs, but that didn't really come to fruition because he ended up fighting Noob Scrub and I ended up fighting Morgana again, and the rest is history.
I fought Star Toad in playoffs, and he has a very scary team.
Yeah.
But
what can I say? Mamoswine hits hard.
Yeah. Well, speaking of me fighting, the next match is versus me.
Yep. This one I will be bitter about until the day I die. I remember talking with Colin about this, and we were doing a bunch of last minute labbing around trying to figure out how things work, and it was a very situational thing where I could have come out on top. But we spent like a good 4 hours just fighting having me fight the same teams over and over again. And it did come out to be really close in every single one, so I knew this was going to be a close match. And I mean, we can see it right here. Dustclops got 4 kills, Crook got 1. I don't remember who the one was on. I think it was probably Latias or Shiftry.
I think it was Latias, yeah.
I don't remember if it was a fun little knockoff call out or...
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
But I know Crocodile put in some good work. He got a kill. Once we got near the end of that fight, like, I was shaking because I had 4 kills with Dustclops and I was ready for a 5th and a possible 6th. But, wait, no, I couldn't have gotten 6 with Dustclops because Crocodile ended Latias, but I was really going for that, I was really going for a Dustclops sweep right there. Right there at the end, I have a whole TED Talk prepared for this. that speed tie where Gigalith outsped Dustclops mattered. Regardless of what anybody says, that mattered. At first I thought it was me choking, which I kind of did. We'll come back to that. But that speed tie mattered. Because you had Sandstream up. Dustclops was on a roll with 4 kills. If I had won the speed tie and I'd gotten the Seismic Toss, it would have killed Gigalith. And then at that point, it would have come down to mind games as to whether or not I could get the kill on Excadrill. Because what would have happened was, first turn of Sand would have been gone, and I'm 99% sure Dustclops would have lived it. I don't remember how much percent he was at. But I do know that I would have survived the Sand. In comes Excadrill, and at that point, then we get to have fun with the mind games. It would have come down to mind games and essentially accuracy and hacks and all that, but... TLDR, if I had won the speed tie, Gigalith would have gone down, Excadrill would have come in, I would have foddered off Dustclops, that would have been 2 turns of Sand gone. I would have sent into Dragalge, and then it would have queued the mind games, like, is he going to read me going into Tornadus and click Stone Edge, or is he going to go for the Earthquake? And assuming everything played out well, I would have essentially stalled out Sand, losing every single Mon but Excadrill. Or not Excadrill, Tornadus Therian, and then it would have come down to accuracy and flinch hacks. Because I could have clicked Air Slash a bunch of times and prayed for flinch, or I could have clicked Focus Miss and had to pray on that 75 accuracy. And we all know how I feel about Focus Miss because I keep calling it Focus Miss.
Yeah.
After Dustclops went down, I was just playing really stupid at that point. I sent into Tornadus Therian thinking I could outspeed, but then for some reason I just hard switched into Dragalge, predicting probably the Stone Edge or something. I don't remember all the details. All I know is that Dragalge took an Earthquake, and then that was just the end of it. And if I had gotten the mind games, I would have more than likely won I would have more than likely won this fight. And I will stand by that. That speed time mattered. I am bitter about this. There's going to be no changing my mind. I do not like Slush Rush or what's it called?
Sand Rush.
Sand Rush. Those are just those ones where those abilities where it doubles your speed in a certain weather. I just don't really like those. He says, casually thinking about Excadrill Season 3.
If you can't beat him, join him.
Kinda, yeah, but I mean, Excadrill's versatile, so I wouldn't be surprised if Excadrill gets sniped from me next season, because I am looking at it. I'm not saying I'm going to draft it, but I am looking at it. I'm trying to figure out ideas for it, see if I can make it work with my team, but we'll save Season 3 for another time. Overall, yeah, this was a really good fight. I was not expecting Klefki or Shiftry to put in that much work. I don't remember who killed Shiftry, but Shiftry was scary, and that's a tier 5 Mon.
I was really, I was not banking on you bringing Fortress. I was like, he's not going to bring Fortress. I have 3 fire types. And then you brought Fortress, because I didn't prepare for Fortress, because I was banking on you not bringing it. And I was like, oh, no, he brought Fortress. And it gave me so much trouble, because...
I remember us joking about this in the Discord, because you had, I think you were coming off of a loss against Drizzle.
Yeah.
And then you said you were going to do a whole bunch of changes to your team. And then at some point I brought up the whole I don't like sand thing. I think you were low-key looking at sand and you mentioned it, and then I said I don't like sand. And then I changed my profile picture to Anakin Skywalker, and at that point I think you were dead set on bringing sand. And I thought you were going to bring sand because of that little joke sentence that I said, and that's the only reason why I brought Fortress.
Oh my gosh. Damn.
I brought Fortress because it had Sandstorm immunity, plus its defenses get buffed. Or at least its physical defense.
Well, as a steel type, it doesn't, just because it's only rock types. But it is immune to the Sandstorm, which is a big plus for it. But the biggest problem for me was that it could rapid spin, and I was relying a lot on, well, 2 big problems. I was relying a lot on hazards with Klefki and Gigalith, and also it walls Shiftry because I didn't have Hidden Power Fire on it because I didn't think you were going to bring Fortress. So I wanted to.
People don't even bring Hidden Power Fire. Most people are like, okay, I'm going to just Leaf Blade everything.
I actually had extra sensory for Dragalge. Because I thought it was going to be a really big threat, but I should have just brought Hidden Power Fire, but I didn't. So, yeah, Shiftry, I really wanted Shiftry to be my main sweeper and not Gigalith, so I think that was my mistake. I think Gigalith works better in this matchup for me.
You mean Excadrill?
Sorry, yeah, Excadrill.
Yeah, Gigalith Excadrill, that really scared me. I wasn't expecting this heavy of a focus on sand. I was at least thinking Excadrill, but I was not thinking Gigalith. But that's just because Excadrill has 80 or 90 speed, and that literally outspeeds my entire team, so... Well, aside from Torn T, but you could just Scarf it, and then it does. Because I don't believe I was packing Scarf on Torn T. Maybe I was. I don't remember.
Regardless, really good match, really, really intense one. It was my closest one at that point, so I had a lot of fun.
I had a lot of fun with this match. I am bitter. I am bitter about this. I am not even going to try to hide it. I think that speed tie mattered a lot more than what I give it credit for. I'm at least not beating myself up about it. It's just it kind of came down to RNG at the end, because quite literally, I clicked Focus Miss on that last turn, praying for a Stone Edge miss. But, I mean, there's not a whole lot we can do about it. It was really close. It was essentially one hit was going to decide it.
Did I use Stone Edge? I thought I used Iron Head.
No, I thought it was Stone Edge because it was super effective, and I don't think Iron Head would have killed.
Because Excadrill doesn't get Stone Edge. It gets Rock Slide, I think.
It was some kind of rock move. I don't remember all the details, but it essentially came down to one hit either way. Whether you hit the rock slide or you missed and then I hit you with a focus miss, or it missed, either way one of us was dying to one hit.
It was
your
close.
your quad weak to focus miss. I was weak to rock slide or stone edge, whichever it was. But all around, this was a good match. I'm bitter, but not a whole lot we can do about it. It came down to luck.
Excadrill and sand moment. That was very intense.
The whole me taking like 4 or 5 hours just labbing things out with Colin. That was probably the big thing, because I kept doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. You can ask Colin the same thing. We were labbing the same thing for like 5 hours.
Yeah, I remember.
I was fighting the same 3 teams, which was pretty much just a little combination of this, except instead of Latios, it was like another sun Pokemon. I think it was Venusaur. Normal Venusaur, of course, because Noob Scrub had Mega. Nah, my headphones came undid.
Well, speaking of Noob Scrub, well, no, actually, I don't think you faced Noob Scrub in the regular season.
I did not.
Your next match was actually Night Wishy Washy.
And that was
Fingered Witch.
Yeah, Joey. This one, I felt like I could have won this one. I was still a little bitter coming off of the loss against you, and I remember I remember I needed a win against you, because that was when, things started to take a little dark turn in my personal life. So I was still a little bitter about that. Fingered Witch, his team is really scary because Lurantis, I think it has 60 speed, but it's like somehow really fast. Also, it gets contrary.
Yeah, I think the big thing with their team is that there's so many Pokemon that are so versatile that could be used either way.
Electros is surprisingly slow, but Electros, I say he, but I think it's genderless. Electros also hits like a truck. And then Incineroar, he ran, I think I remember a really weird Incineroar set. I don't remember what it was. I think it was Bulk Up Power Trip. Something weird like that.
I think they had Earthquake on Incineroar and Darkest Lariat. I think those were the only moves that I remember.
Maybe it was somebody else who I was training with who ran the Bulk Up Power Trip, but I mean that was really scary because you could set up Bulk Ups and then use Power Trip. But that's something that people are gonna want to look out for. I think it might have been Drizzle because Drizzle runs weird sets sometimes. But Nidoking's a real threat also. I know it gets some kind of ability which I think negates secondary effects for more damage. I don't remember what it is.
Sheer Force.
Yeah, and then I remember some kind of meme back in the day that I used to do. It was I think it was like Life Orb and then a bunch of other damaging moves that maybe do recoil, and it would just negate the Life Orb damage, and I was low-key expecting that because that's how it works apparently. But Nidoking I don't think I was prepared for in the slightest. Mew I think I was a little more prepared for because I thought it was going to come because it was so versatile, and I brought Crook and Dusclops for that. Just for Mew alone.
I think it was really close. I think what it came down to was, in the end, Electros was able to take down my Milotic, and your final Pokemon wasn't able to take down Incineroar because it had Intimidate. I forgot what it was. I think it was Rapidash.
It had to have been either Rapidash or Crocodile. I mean, it was still a close match, and
yeah, super close.
I think I choked that loss up to just brute bitterness, and then my personal life started getting in the way, and I think it was you who said around week 6, at the end of week 6 or the start of week 7, saying if I won, I would be confirmed for playoffs. And then that really put the pressure on for me to win, so I could just be confirmed, and then I could just roll over, kind of play dead for the rest of the season, and just help others try to get to playoffs. And that would have probably been my strategy. I would still try, but I wouldn't be giving it 100%. I would probably just try to help out anybody who I could. Because, you know, if I'm already confirmed, what's stopping me from just thinking about playoffs, you know? And I understand that's unsportsmanlike, and it doesn't make the wins feel full, but that would have been my thoughts on the whole. If I had made playoffs then and there, just help who I could, but still try.
I think the pressure was really tough to handle, I guess, for getting into playoffs.
Yeah. Because, I mean, you said it yourself. I had, like, the biggest glow-up from last season, because at this point in the season, we're on week 7 or week 8. I was, like, 2-5 at week 7 in season 1, and here I was sitting at 4-2, 4-3, somewhere around there. So I had a really big glow-up here, and I was sitting here wanting to keep capitalizing on that, and then, you know, someone mentioned playoffs. I think it was you, or maybe Star Toad, I don't know, but something just got to me, and it was like, yeah, now I really want to win. But so I probably just started overthinking.
Well, moving to the next match. This was Florida Flesh Ribbons.
Yeah, Lion Hugs.
Yes.
I remember this fight really well. This was the week when the whole Black Lives Matter movement really started gaining steam because of some certain things that had happened. I think it was in... I actually don't remember where it was, but the whole George Floyd murder scene, it really sparked a movement, and I actually DM'd Lion Hugs about this beforehand, saying, let's make a fucking statement. And we kind of did a similar thing. I remember naming like 3 of my mons Black Lives Matter or some variant of it, and then I remember naming one of my mons trans rights, and then he named his Sylveon trans rights for the occasion. But, I mean, we ended up doing a replay of this, and I think we were both kind of hoping it would be a live thing, because we were going to put donation links in the chat if possible.
Yeah, I think this one was a replay, because I remember being at work.
But I don't remember. I think this was the week where I just was not having it. Like, I wanted to make a big statement with the Black Lives Matter movement, but I was just not in a good spot that week. Like, quite literally after 2 or 3, like, I think all of my win conditions went down, being Crook, Torrenti, and Rapidash, and I just wanted to forfeit right then and there. And it was kind of, I was just not having it that week, and I think West went after me in the Discord after that. I don't remember it all that well, because that was just a really rough week for me. It was a close match, but I don't really remember all that much of it. I remember.
Go ahead.
I remember me getting a few kills, but I remember that I had such a hard time with Volcarona because for some reason it gets Psychic. I don't understand that, but Legendaries get Psychic, I guess. Mega Sableye, that's always a bulky thing, and then Metagross was a big, annoying Pokemon.
You were doing really well, and then things started looking grim once Mega Sableye was able to recover. Like, you almost took it out with Rapidash, but then it recovered that damage off, and that you just couldn't break through it, and that was kind of like the turning point of the match once Rapidash went down.
Yeah, at that point, I was just ready to roll over and die. Like, just play dead, because I knew I wasn't going to break through Mega Sableye. I think that was a min roll on the Mega Sableye. Because I know I clicked Flare Blitz, and I just don't... I think it was just a mineral.
Well, Flare Blitz hit really hard, and it didn't take down Rapidash. It's just that it switched, and it didn't come out again until Rapidash was down.
I think Lion Hugs knew that if Sableye was gonna go down, it would have probably been over, because at that point all he would have had was Volcarona. And I don't remember who all I had, but I think I had Lantern still.
Yeah.
I think I had Dusclops still. I think I had Exploud still. And if I could have eaten a hit, Volcarona would have lost. So Mega Sableye was kind of his win condition. All I really remember was I was not having it this week. Like, I was mad. Like, pissed with a capital boy.
Still, it was a close match.
It was a close match. I was kind of bitter about that because I saw myself going down, and I think I called out Tiller from last season because he went on a similar route. The second he thought he was confirmed, he kind of started losing more games, and I don't know. I don't remember if it was him not trying or what, but I remember that he barely made playoffs at that point, and I felt like I was taking the same route as him. The only difference was, I was giving it like 150%, and I can't say the same for Tiller because I don't know what was going on with him at the time. But I remember saying I was taking the Tiller route, and I was just not having it that week.
And this was week 9, right?
It was, I think it was week 8 or week 9. Yeah, it had to have been week 9. But I just wasn't having it, and I don't know what happened. Something just came over me.
Well, the next week was week 10, so that was week 9.
This was the King Fuse fight. I was really looking forward to fighting King Fuse. King Fuse, he had to go on a trip or something. I don't remember all the details, but I remember that we only had like 2 days to fight, and he was up there for both of them. And it just kind of stung because, while I did technically get the win here, it didn't really feel like I earned it just because it was a forfeit. And it made me feel like I didn't fully, for lack of a better term, earn my way into playoffs even with that fantastic start. I'm still a little upset that I couldn't fight him. Everybody said I had the advantage in this fight, and that I would have probably have been able to win, but I still wanted to be able to prove that I could win, and I might just try DMing King Fuse again here before too long and see if we could have that league fight. Surprisingly enough, this was going to be the 1 week where I didn't bring Crocodile, because I brought Crocodile up to up into the battles every single week leading up to this, and I thought that King Fuse would have thought, oh, he's brought Crocodile every single week, so he's gonna bring it again. So I thought, what if I throw a wrench in the plan and I don't bring it?
Yeah,
and that's what I was. That was my whole mindset. But I pretty much did the next biggest thing, and that was essentially bring every single mon that I brought frequently to the battle, except for Fortress. Like I was gonna bring Fortress, Breloom, Mega Diancie, Rapidash, Dragalge, and Tornadus Therian. And they were all weird sets, aside from Rapidash and Mega Diancie, but yeah, it was weird. I'm a little upset that we couldn't fight, and it didn't really feel like I earned my spot in playoffs over that, because I was on the lose streak, and I thought it might have been a toss-up because, I might have just not have had it again, and then I might have just lost. And then playoffs would have been a whole different story. But
I think you did earn it. I mean, you had the third highest, I think, differential, of all the people. So, just that fact alone, meant that I think you did earn your way into playoffs. But even then, when we move on to playoffs, which we will shortly, you'll see that, like, it's not like if you didn't earn your way into playoffs, you would have just rolled over and died, but you didn't. You had, how many wins?
I believe it was, I believe it was 3. I believe I went 3-4. 2, I think I went 3-4 in playoffs. 3 wins, 4 losses.
If you didn't earn your way in, it would have just been 0-4. So, like, I don't think that you didn't earn your way in. It's unfortunate that it had to end this way, the season, but...
This was the very last fight of the regular season, and it just kind of fizzled out with a forfeit.
Yeah. But it is what it is.
I can't get mad at King Fuse because he said he wanted to battle, but it was an unforeseen thing that came up.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have been the same thing for me. Like if he did get home at a certain point and he was ready that day, I would have been at work until like 10 o'clock at night, and then I wouldn't have been able to fight, and then it would have just been the other way around. I'm pretty sure. I don't entirely know how that would have played out if he would have been able to come home at a halfway decent hour and then I had to go to work.
Well, you still would have gotten the forfeit win, I think, because you alerted me, and it's like the winner is more determined by like who gives me advance notice. Because if you don't give me advance notice, then you're probably gonna get the loss. Because but. Anyways, that was the last battle, and we'll take a look at the Pokemon. Like you said, Crocodile came every week, but you did use every single Pokemon on your team at least twice.
Yep.
I was going to ask, what was your favorite Pokemon to use, and what was your least favorite?
I think it kind of goes without saying. I think my favorite Pokemon to use was probably Crocodile. That's just because, Crocodile's really versatile, and I mean, most of the weeks that I brought him, it was pretty much the same thing. It was pretty much just a choice scarf set, because I didn't really know what to do with Crocodile. I used to run Crocodile way back in the day in early stages of Gen 6. But, I didn't know how to really use him for Gen 7 OU because I never really got into competitive Gen 7 until the leagues. But yeah, Crocodile was probably my favorite Pokemon to use. I said Proc. I'm stumbling over my words here. In regards to my least favorite, I really don't know who to answer here because I really liked using Milotic. Milotic was a great wall. Rapidash and Exploud, they're my go-to Pokemon, and I love using them because they're essentially, for lack of a better term, trash tier Pokemon in the Smogon meta. But in this league, they really get to show off what they can do, and I just love using them. Mega Diancie, I drafted Mega Diancie just as more as a niche kind of Mega because I didn't want my Megas to be sniped. Granted, I was paranoid through the whole thing, but I just kept using the same thing over and over with Mega Diancie. I just didn't really know what to do with it. I think most likely it would probably be either Mega Diancie or maybe Fortress because I just didn't know what to do with them a whole lot for most of the battles. And I think that kind of reflected as to why I didn't bring them as often as everything else. Mm-hmm. Musharna I did like using a lot. It's just it's a really situational Pokemon. Like it's good to do damage. Like it's kind of like another Reuniclus, as I know Edgar drafted Reuniclus, and you can set up the Calm Mind and then you can Psychic everything. But it's really situational because then you either have to set up Trick Room so it outspeeds everything, or you have to essentially pray to God you can eat enough hits to set up Calm Minds and Sweep. And I think Musharna is probably a better cleric Pokemon, for lack of a better term. So I know it gets Heal Bell, I know it gets Healing Wish, I believe. I think it's Healing Wish. I know it gets some kind of healing recovery move. I know it gets Moonlight, so it's probably better as a tank, but that probably explains why it has such a low kill-death ratio. But
and the best thing was setting up Trick Room, for sure.
I can't really say which Mon I disliked using the most, other than like Fortress and Mega Diancie, just because I don't really know how to use them. I drafted them as a way so I could use them, but it just didn't really end well for me. And that's nothing really against them, it's just they're just kind of there.
Right. I think overall you had good differentials on your Pokemon, though. Your lowest being -3, which isn't even that bad. And yeah, so I think you used your whole team pretty decently. And this was in the regular season. We still have playoffs to talk about, which is coming up.
We got a lot of ground to cover there.
So let's move into playoffs, actually. Your first set was in the winners quarterfinals, and this was versus Noob Scrub. This was the first time you faced Noob Scrub in this league.
This would be the third time I faced Noob Scrub in this league. I fought him in preseason, where I lost horribly.
Oh, sorry, I mean in this season.
Yep, this season, that would be better. Game 1, like, I'm not gonna lie, Noob Scrub, I kind of figured I was gonna fight him, or I was gonna fight, I don't remember who the seed below him, the person placed below him was, but it was gonna be either Noob Scrub or the person below him.
Or Edgar.
I'm not gonna lie, I think I would have wanted to take my chances with Edgar, just because I haven't fought him yet, like in any of the seasons, I don't think. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. I don't remember fighting him. If I did fight him in Season 1, I think he was probably the Slush Rush Salazzle guy.
No, that was King Fuse.
Yeah. I don't remember fighting him in Season 1, and if I do, then it was probably one of those fights where it was on a week where I just wrote it off, and I probably won it, but I don't remember it. I know Noob Scrub's playstyle, and it's hyper defense, and I have stated 1,000 times in the past I cannot handle hyper defense, and this score really goes to show it. Like, I could not break through anything. And I knew he was going to bring Celesteela, I knew he was going to bring Mega Venusaur, the rest were going to be up in the air, so I brought Mons to specifically counter those two, because if I could be anything, I would have wanted it to be Mega Venusaur or Celesteela.
I think Mega Venusaur was the biggest problem for you because you had Breloom, which would have just obliterated everything with the substitute set, but Mega Venusaur was the one thing that got in its way.
It brought Sludge Bomb, and I remember talking to you about this, saying he's going to bring Sludge Bomb, and I was adamant on that. I knew he was going to bring Sludge Bomb, but for some reason, I just didn't bring Dragalge, because Dragalge, I think, quad resists that. No, it's he at least 2x resists it.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring Dragalge, but I just kind of wanted to see if I could do it without him, because I didn't see any other situation where it would work, because Mandibuzz wouldn't have taken much damage from it. Celesteela is hyper defense, so I couldn't do anything to it. Blissey, it heals status pretty much, and then Hippowdon and Stoutland, they're bulky. Well, Hippowdon's bulky. I can't say the same for Stoutland because I don't use Stoutland.
It's just scary in sand because of Sand Rush.
Yeah, it's weird, but I was kind of going into this fight expecting to lose because I can't handle hyper defense. I've never been able to, and I probably never will. And the only way I'll be able to is if I just shut up and learn hyper defense already.
Stall time. Well, so that was the first match, because this is a best of 3 set. So in this one, Mega Venusaur did a lot of the work. In the next one, Mega Venusaur was still problematic for you. But I think
I didn't do a lot of team changing. I don't think I changed a single thing. I was just like, let's get it over with.
You switched out Lantern for Milotic. I think that a big change needed was a Pokemon that could take down Mega Venusaur.
Yeah, and I knew Milotic was a lot more bulky. I knew it got Marvel Scale. I knew it could be specially defensive. I know it gets Ice Beam, so it gave me an opportunity to freeze. But I couldn't really do anything. Mandibuzz was super bulky. I think I almost got close to beating Hippowdon, but that was the end of it. And at this point, I kind of was not expecting to get anywhere, so if I could have just taken out one Mon, I would have considered it a win in my book, but it looks like nothing happened again.
You almost did with Rapidash, but then Blissey, with its gargantuan HP, when you use Flare Blitz on...
It's like, what, 200 defense? Or not 200 defense, 200 HP?
255.
255.
So when
it's gargantuan.
Yeah, when you used Flare Blitz on it, you ended up killing yourself because you took so much recoil damage.
I thought it was just 33% of the damage dealt, not HP. It was just like percent.
No, HP.
Oh yeah, so because I did like 4 damage too. I think I'd maybe knocked off like... Well, let's see. If it was max HP with its 255 HP...
Blissey gets
because I know I didn't do a whole lot. I think I probably did like 100 damage to it, maybe that.
You got like I think you did like 60-something% to it actually. You did quite a bit. But Blissey's max HP, like I think it's around 800. So 60% of 800, you're dead.
Yeah. I mean, that's through the power of math. 10 of 800, that's 80. That's like 480 damage.
Yeah,
roughly
1/3 of that, which you were already damaged, so...
that would have just been Oko. If I were to Flare Blitz at 100%, I would have died. Because I think Rapidash's max HP is like 360, something like that.
Yeah. So this...
And I was assuming I was max HP as well.
This was a tough set for you, but it wasn't over yet for you in playoffs after this.
Because it was the double elimination.
Yes, and I prefer this format, honestly, because if you have a bad matchup, you still have another chance. So...
I mean, this was my first time in playoffs. I think Season 1 it was just single elimination.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, coming out of this, knowing that I still had at least a second chance, I kind of figured, yeah, I'm not going to beat myself up about it. I was kind of expecting to lose, so maybe I'd have better luck in losers and I could just bring it up and meet you up in grand finals. Because I'm not going to lie, I was kind of expecting you to go up to grand finals. I don't know how it's going right now. I stopped following after Morgana beat me.
Right now, I'm waiting in grand finals for whoever's gonna come out of losers bracket.
I know Star Totem and Morgana were supposed to fight. I don't know who won that.
They fight tomorrow at the time of this recording. By the time this is uploaded, they'll have fought.
And then Star Totem Morgana fights. I don't remember who you fought last in winners finals.
Edgar.
Edgar. So they'll go on and fight Edgar, so... that I might actually watch. I don't entirely know. It really just depends on when they fight and if I have the time to do it. But, yeah, going into losers, I was kind of somewhat thinking I could just storm my way through and meet you up in grand finals. As, I mean, that's how it played out. That's kind of how it was going to play out last season if I made it. I was going to low-key just try to meet you up in finals, but I lost week 10 last season, and I think that kind of doomed me out of playoffs. I think I was probably doomed from the get-go, but there's no point in reliving season 1. But still, I went on a grind well. I went on a really good winning streak in season 1 after week 6, I think.
Yeah. Well, your next matchup in playoffs was versus Quest.
And we got our rematch, and I'm looking at his his team. I don't know if emblem is the right word here. His team image, and I don't know who that is in the image with Victini.
That's a character from Yu-Gi-Oh.
I figured it was Yu-Gi-Oh, but I don't remember which Yu-Gi-Oh. Is that like 5Ds or?
Zexal.
Zexal. Yeah, that was gonna be my second guess. And yeah, this one was really tough for me as well. As I mean, this was like the next week, and this was like 2 weeks ago as of recording. But I mean, this was kind of a weird thing for me because I completely forgot about my playoffs match with him, so I just went in with the mindset of, let's go in with my regular season team. Let's see if I could do anything different, or see if everything would have played out differently. And we had a very similar mindset with this because the only mon that he swapped out was I think it was Dawn Fan for Zygarde.
Yeah, in the second battle. In this first battle, he had Zygarde, and it was pretty much like this whole set actually was pretty much Milotic versus Bulu.
I mean,
that was
Bulu,
the set.
I mean, Bulu was like really annoying. Like we all know how I have my beef with the Tapus, except for Feeny. But Bulu is just annoying. And I think it was Noob Scrub or somebody who said I have a very big grass weakness on my team. And this was after the set, of course, but this set right here, I remember this set, I got one of the hardest reads on Zygarde 10%. I think it was with Milotic using Ice Beam.
Yeah.
I don't entirely remember all the details, but I know the call out where I Ice Beamed the Zygarde when it swapped in, I was 100% expecting Bulu to come in. So I clicked Ice Beam. I knew that was going to do at least something, but yeah, Bulu just kind of shut down my team, and I think I just got a bad lead this match, and it kind of hit me in the morale a little hard. It started making me think my win against him was kind of a one time, never going to happen again kind of deal. It kind of had me check my ego, for lack of a better term. I wouldn't say I had an ego, but it just checked me. And I just kind of didn't know what to do to Bulu. If I had gotten rid of Bulu, then this wouldn't have been a 3-game set. But yeah, he just played really smart with Bulu this game, and I cannot get mad about it. I at least got rid of Sigalith, who was packing Ice Beam this time, and if you want something that checks my team, yeah, Ice Beam does that real well. It checks like 4 or 5 of my mons.
Yeah, Bulu was his strongest, definitely, in this matchup. Milotic pretty much walled everything else except Sigalith, but Sigalith was easily taken out by Crocodile, for example, so Bulu was really the mon to beat.
Yeah, I mean, I am happy that I was able to get like double lefties with Dragalge and the grassy terrain. Yeah. I don't know why grassy terrain heals, but I'm not gonna argue with it.
Yeah, there was like moments where grassy terrain definitely helped him, but it definitely helped you too.
Yeah, it certainly gave me the opportunity to heal up a little bit faster with Dragalge.
Yeah,
I think that was in every game, as he brought Bulu every single game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what came over me in game 1. I was just kind of in a, what do I do here? I think it was probably just nerves because I did not prepare for this match in the slightest. It was just, let's get this done and over with.
Well, in the second match, did you actually make any changes to your team?
I think in regards to Pokemon, I didn't change anything. I think the only thing that I changed was, I think it was item on my Lodic from leftovers to the Burn Orb.
Oh, yeah.
And then Mega Diancie. In the first game, I was running, I believe it was Power Gem, Earth Power. It was either Power Gem or Diamond Storm. I don't remember. Earth Power, Moonblast, and Psyshocker or Psychic, I believe. It was one of the two, or maybe it was 2 Psychic moves, Earth Power, and Dazzling Gleam. Or Moonblast, whichever one it was. And the second one, it was Power Gem, Earth Power, Psychic, and the stronger of the 2 fairy moves that I said. And that worked better, and I mean, that was more of a what would I have done different, and that was more of the what would have I have done different, because the team in game 1 was just straight up week 6 team, or week 5 team, whichever week I fought Quest. That was just copy pasted. This one right here was how I could improve upon it. And Diancie put in a lot of work. I think it was Diancie who got the kill on Bulu. It was either Diancie or Torntia. I know for a fact it was not Crook.
I think it was Diancie.
Because if I remember correctly, Crook was Infernape and Sigilyph. I'm pretty sure. Actually, no. I know Sigilyph was one, but I don't remember who the other was. I think it was Infernape or Donphan.
I'm not sure, but Diancie did do a lot of work.
And I mean, quite literally, after my Lodic went down, I knew Bulu was still there, so I was expecting to just... I literally put in the chat in that match, this is where I lose. And Quest dug into me on it. Like, he ripped me a new one. And I mean, low-key, he was probably right to dig into me on it. But I mean... That was just my mindset, because, like, pretty much from, like, the week I lost to you on, I have been suffering from depression, and that's just how my mindset has been working. It's like, I know I'm gonna lose, so at this point, why bother trying? That's pretty much been my mindset, and my lot of kind of being my win condition here and it dying relatively early, it just made me want to roll over and play dead and just end the season there. And when I said that, I could probably make the argument that Quest threw it to me just so that way it would have been a subtle reminder of don't give up until it's over.
I don't think he threw it though. He definitely didn't.
I think he just got pissed and I think Quest wanted me to realize, yeah, I'm being negative. I'm being a negative Nancy. And I don't entirely know what happened there, but after I said that, like, something just clicked, and all of a sudden something happened, one thing led to another, and then all of a sudden I won. And I could make the argument that he threw it, but I don't want to say that he threw it, because I don't think he did.
Yeah, he's not the kind of person to do that.
But I know he just kind of laid into me on it, and then all of that just carried on over to Game 3.
So in Game 3, actually, both Milotic and Tapu Bulu went down early, so it became... Finally, the other Pokemon get to have a chance to shine.
Yeah, I think I swapped out I swapped out Dragalge for Fortress because I was talking to Colin about the whole Game 3. Like, Bulu was the bane of my existence. It still is, and I hate them on. I just do not like Bulu. It looks like a cowboy, and I don't like it. But I was talking with Colin, kind of freaking out, and he said, just bring something to counter or to counter Tapu Bulu, and it's like, what can I bring? Because I thought the big check to it was Dragalge, but it gets Stone Edge, and it kind of kills Dragalge, and then he brought up Fortress, and then Fortress just kind of showed up, and I think it did Hazards, and that was about it. It essentially kind of turned into Fortress and Empoleon get rid of each other's hazards.
Yeah, pretty much. A common theme in this battle, too, was Empoleon and Milotic scalding each other, doing nothing to each other.
And that went on for a little while. I know Breloom went down before Milotic, so I couldn't just swap into Breloom and end it all there. I know Milotic and Bulu went down quickly, so that really just kind of helped Crocodile, because Crocodile... I don't remember all that what happened. All I know is that I got a couple of crit Ice Beams, and I know one crit Ice Beam happened on Bulu. But pretty much that's all I remember of the battle, because I really don't want to relive those, because it's just really that wasn't really the best set for me to play because of how it happened. All I know is that it came out 3-0. Crook was probably the undisputed MVP of Game 3, and then Quest just kind of laid into me in the Discord over my actions in that set. I mean, I still feel like even though I won 2-1 with a difference of, I think it was +3, because I lost in a 2-0 and then I won in a 2-0 and then I won in a 3-0.
Yeah.
I still feel like I played pretty mediocrely.
I wouldn't say that. I think that you played better as the games went on too. Like, you needed that first match to kind of like hiccup, and then you went into it and you were victorious.
It didn't really... It kind of felt like a hollow victory for me. I don't know if I'm using that term correctly, but as much as I won, it doesn't really feel like I kind of won, because it just felt weird. Like, maybe if that's just the depression talking, but it just didn't really feel like I won the set with my full heart in it. I know Quest didn't throw Game 3 because he kind of wanted to... I know he wanted to win, and I know I kind of wanted to win because I saw this as another chance to, like, I needed to prove myself, because I thought, like, before Game 2 and Game 3, I was 0-3 at that point. Like, something was up. And so I knew I needed to kick it into high gear, like, I needed to prove myself. And I keep using that a lot, but yeah, when you're sitting here trying to prove that you actually are good at Pokemon and it's just the hack screwing you, you learn to doubt yourself a lot. So when you're sitting here trying to prove yourself, you just have to feel like you're proving yourself by getting wins without the need of hacks. And I mean, I think I did get like 4 flinches in this match as well. Or I'm thinking of the next set with Morgana.
I think it's the next set. Know. Actually, in this match, you were pretty unlucky because there were so many times where you needed that Scald burn and it didn't happen. That's what I remember. Like, you were so unlucky with the Scalds in this set.
And Scald has, I think, it's either a 30 or a 10% chance to burn. 30. I mean, normally with things that are like 30, it's usually like guaranteed to happen.
Yeah.
For others, like, I remember this one battle that I had in Gen 6 back in the day. I think this was in regular Pokemon XY Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. I was facing who's a long dead YouTuber now. I don't think they upload anymore, but we had this weird fun match. I was bringing my what was a good competitive team back then, and he just kept clicking Scald, and all my Mons got burned.
Yeah, it's pretty much 100%. 30 is 100, unless it's like
unless it's like you're the unluckiest people in the world are using it, and I do consider myself one of the most unlucky people in the world. When it comes to like hacks and RNG, I am, it's undisputed. I have really bad RNG. I am like I would say I'm like a king of bad RNG. Like, if anybody who has seen any Twitch stream of me playing Mario Kart, you've seen the bad RNG.
Well, in this set, that was certainly bad at RNG. In the next set, you did have some good RNG, but in some matches, I think. This was your set versus Morgana's team, Northern Necrozmas. And in the first match, it was really close.
I think it came. I think it was like my last Mon had like 1%. It was something really minuscule like that.
It was 7% on Crocodile, yeah.
All I know, this was a really close match, and I was freaking out because he has all these fast Mons, and I brought Musharna with the Trick Room because, you know, again, like I was going to bring the team that I had used in the regular season to see how I could improve upon it, because I think in week 4, I think I lost due to a mineral. Like, Hitmonlee could have died there, but it just didn't. So I brought the same team again, see if it was just hacks or if it was something that was meant to be. And if it was meant to be, how could I improve upon it? And it came down to damage rolls. Like, Exploud barely lived a sludge wave from Gengar, I believe. He lived on like 12%, and then I just boom bursted it. Then Zeraora came in, and then from what Morgana said, it was like a 13% chance that I lived that close combat.
I calced it, and you were more likely to live than to die, but it was like 57 to 43 or something like that.
I don't know if the calcs were different. Like, I don't know if you were doing all-out attack or if you did some kind of attack equivalent of speed creeping. I don't know all the details there. All I know is that he said it was like a 13% chance that I lived that, and that's what gave me the win here. So I lost in week 4 to RNG or some kind of luck or something, and then here I am winning for the exact same reason.
It was close matches, and I remember both of you, your hearts were beating so fast.
After this match, I was literally just pacing up and down my room like, come on, just do what I want you to do. Do what I want you to do. Come on. I was literally just saying swap or do this. And that was like all of game 2 and all of game 3.
So in game 2,
that one was even closer because that one came down to toxic. I happened to get a toxic off on Zeraora, and I think I also got a toxic off on a Primarina or Garchomp or something. Yeah, I got one off on a few Mons, and I think I got off to a very quick early lead. I don't remember all the details. It started off close, but then I started pulling away. And then I don't entirely know what happened. I think Necrozma just kind of became a problem because Musharna was holding the Ghost Berry, the one that reduces damage on super effective ghost type moves.
Yeah, but then he went for Dark Pulse.
Yeah, the Z Dark Pulse and then regular Dark Pulse, and I wanted to stall it out, but I think Dark Pulse gets more uses than Moonlight.
Yeah.
So while I could have stalled it out and maybe got rid of like 14 to 16 Dark Pulses, that's only like half of the Dark Pulses that it gets. I think Dark Pulse gets 32.
I think it's 16 and Moonlight's 8, so it would still have had 8 left.
It would have still had about half, and I mean, I really would have probably just been delaying the inevitable, but that one was really close, and I was really kind of hoping that we got a similar situation to game 1, where I could have eaten a hit, and then I could have ended Zeraora on the very last turn, or have it die to toxic damage, but it lived on 1, and I was like full-on freaking out at that point, as I didn't know if it was because of a lead, I don't know if it was just because the damage rolls were not on my side or what, but it came down to literally 1 HP.
1% and poisoned. Crazy end.
So his kill kind of mattered. Otherwise, it would have gone in my favor, and then I would still kind of be in playoffs right now, fighting Startoad, which I would have kind of wanted to see how that goes, because I think Startoad made some exchanges.
I think he did. I'm not sure. I have to do his team analysis, but I can't yet because he's not. He's still in playoffs. So. But anyways,
this will probably go down in FNF history as the closest league match ever.
Yeah, this was extremely close.
Nothing will top it, because if it comes down to 2 Pokemon using Destiny Bond. The one we actually labbed this out before game 3. The one who uses Destiny Bond will die, but not the mon that gets the kill if it's a 1-1. And then I think we experienced firsthand, if it comes down to toxic damage, toxic just won't pop on Showdown. So, quite literally, the only thing that could happen is if a tie happens, or they can only tie this game. I mean, it feels good to make a mark on playoffs with literally the closest match in draft league history, in this draft league's history. I just don't know how I'm gonna one up this in future seasons, other than probably just beating Noob Scrub in a 6-0 while he's using hyper defense and I'm using hyper offense. But that'll be a different battle for a different time, because everybody hates hyper defense.
I don't hate it, but I could see why people are frustrated to face it.
This was way too close of a match, and I would love to have another fight come this close, but I don't want it to be me.
Well, there's still one more match in the set, and
Game 3, I have gone on record to say was probably the most underwhelming of the 3. Because we're coming off of one where Crocodile was the last mon and it lived on 7%. And then Game 2, Zeraora lives on 1 and it's poisoned. Here it's just a 2-0. And I'm bitter about that, just because I wanted to see another really close match, ideally with me coming out on top. But Hitmonlee is kind of the bane of my existence, because it gets Unburden and it gets the white herb, I believe is what it is.
Yeah.
And I don't even think Scarfed Torn Tea could outspeed it. Or at least my Scarfed Torn Tea. I think if it was max speed, timid nature with a Scarf, maybe it would speed tie, but I don't know. I genuinely think this one was underwhelming. I brought Dusclops specifically for Zeraora. That's just because Zeraora is going to outspeed me, and I did bring Trick Room on Dusclops just because, last-ditch effort to get the kill on it. Maybe get some flinches with Torn Tea or something. But then I forgot to bring Pain Split, so I brought Trick Room. I believe it was Trick Room, Will-O-Wisp, Destiny Bond, Seismic Toss. And I don't know what the fourth move, what move I would have gotten rid of for Pain Split. I think it would have probably been Will-O-Wisp or something, because I know Conkeldurr gets Guts.
Oh, yeah.
But I completely forgot to bring Pain Split, so I had to sack off Dusclops so early to Primarina. Ideally, it would have been to Chomp or Zeraora, pretty much anything but Primarina. Because I could handle Primarina. Primarina's not a problem when you got a Lantern, you got a Breloom, and you got an Exploud. But I was ideally saving it for Zeraora. Hitmonlee, maybe it's just because I don't fight a lot of Unburdened Pokemon, but I just keep forgetting what Unburden does. And when I saw the Stone Edge hit on Tornti, it hurt because I knew it was over, and it just seems kind of underwhelming. Like I can't really say it any other way. I don't like Unburden, and because of that, I don't really like Slurpuff or Hitmonlee, and I have a sudden hatred for Mucha Lucha now. I think it's just I don't like Unburden because I never see it, and I kind of just hate the mons that use it, that have Unburden because of it. It's more of an Unburden thing and not the Pokemon thing. But Unburden is a good ability, and I just don't like it because I can't really counter it well.
Well, despite it being a 2-0, it was still pretty close, in my opinion. I think Lantern, if you sent out Lantern first and Scalded, then you would have maybe had a chance versus Hitmonlee, but it was looking pretty scary since Dusclops was already down.
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep telling myself I should have brought Pain Split because I completely forgot about Pain Split. I honestly thought it was only Dusknoir that got Pain Split or something. I don't know why I didn't bring it.
Probably just forgot.
It's one of those things that I just completely forgot about, and I just don't really know what happened there. But either way, it was a really close match. I think in Game 3, I think Morgana looked back on our match in the past and he realized what gave him the W back then, and then he brought it again because he knew I couldn't really counter it well.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking when I went back and watched the first match you guys did. I was like, yeah, he probably looked at this and thought, bring Hitmonlee again.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I looked back at all of my matches just to see who I led with in the past. Like with Quest, I brought the exact same team. I was expecting the exact same match again and again and again. So I just pulled up the VOD and I just watched the opening just to see how I led and what all I could do. And then I just did the same thing here because it worked in the first round of losers. Why wouldn't it work again? But yeah, he had the same mindset probably, and he knew that I had trouble with it in the past, and I would probably have trouble with it again. I can't get mad, but I mean, after 2 close matches, I will defend my statement by saying it just felt kind of underwhelming seeing a 2-0 instead of a 1-0. If I had gotten the kill on Zeraora though, that would have been hype as hell. Because then it would have been, I forgot who my last mon was. I think it was Tornti. Yeah, I think it was Tornti or Crook or somebody, but yeah, that would have been really hype. Having whoever versus Necrozma.
Yeah, Hitmonlee was like the bane. So this set was 1-2, and that was the end of playoffs. But you did enter playoffs, I believe, seed 6, and
7, I believe.
Or
I think
7.
it was 7.
And you left tied for 5th. So,
and then I even started the season in 9th seed, I believe, if I remember it correctly. I know I finished last season in 9th. I think I tied with King Fuse.
Yeah, so not bad, and I think you definitely improved.
I know for a fact I outplaced my seed this season.
Yeah,
and that is an improvement. And if I finished 9th last season, and I finished 5th this season, if the pattern continues, the next season I should be first. I should be finishing in first. But I mean, that would require a lot of things to go in my favor. For starters, I would need to be able to one-up you, which, depending on my draft, I might be able to.
Anything's possible.
It also depends on what you're doing. Depending on whether or not Noob Scrub enters, which could happen, it might not. I don't entirely know. It really just depends as to when Season 3 starts.
Yeah.
Colin, Startoad, and Quest, there are other big people who I would need to look out for, because I think Colin just had an off season this season. I was really kind of hoping he'd make it to playoffs, but it looked like he couldn't really get a whole lot going. I think he finished 3-7 also.
4-6.
Yeah, he finished kind of low in the bottom 5, I think. But yeah, Startoad and Quest, they're going to be big people, I think, to look out for in Season 3. Who knows, we might get newcomers coming in who I don't know how they play, so it's going to be something else to look forward to. But a lot of things are going to have to go my way if I want to get top seed next season. But I got a weird draft in the works, and I think with a little bit of luck, things could play out really well for me. We'll worry about Season 3 next season. So,
what were some of the things that you felt like you learned in this league this season?
Definitely this season, early on, I tried to go in with a mindset similar to what I had at the end of Season 1, which was don't assume anything and just kind of go in and have some fun with it, and that just kind of worked out for me really well. I know after like week 6 of last season, something just clicked and I started winning a lot more left and right, and I was having a lot more fun with it, and things started to play out in my favor a little bit more. And that kind of, I kind of had to go in with that mindset this season because it worked well in the past and it worked well again, but then the real life things started to hit and that kind of went out the window a little bit. So no matter what, I think the biggest thing I learned was try to have more fun with it, try not to take it so seriously, but there's some things that you just can't control and you gotta learn to deal with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and in the end, we're all friends, we're not going to be condemning each other or judging each other. We all just want to have fun, so I think that's also something that
this season I had a lot better of a mindset going into I lost to Lion Hugs and his probable more defensive team. I think it was more defensive than offensive, and I lost 6-0 twice to Noob Scrub, and I wasn't calling anybody cowardice I wasn't calling them all cowardly or whatever for using hyper defense.
Yeah.
I was a lot harder on myself this season, and I don't know if that was just all the bad things happening in my life just making me feel bad and having me beat myself up because of it, or just because I just felt like I could control the RNG, and when it didn't go my way, I just got mad. But I got really negative towards myself this season. It's nothing against anybody else. This is all on me. We know from the end of last season that I haven't really been in the best place for the past few months, and I'm just trying to make the best out of a bad hand right now. But overall, I'm really trying to improve, and if it takes a little longer for me, I need people to work with me through it. I'm gonna be self-deprecating, and I'm just gonna need somebody to talk to through it. So, fair warning, other people, if I start talking to you about dark things going on in my life, please help me out through it.
Well, hopefully that's the effect that we all that we have in the server. That's what I'm trying to achieve. Like, just supportive community that, you know, like, we have our hiccups, but as long as we all remember, like, that, you know, we're friends and we're here having fun together and we could help each other out even though we're struggling, because a lot of people are. And
yeah, I've read some of the things that go on in the serious chat, and this is going to sound really bad, but it is nice to know I'm not the only one going through bad things.
Yeah, a lot of people are.
I mean, it's nice to see that other people could possibly understand what I'm going through. I understand some people have completely different things they need to get off their chest, and they probably wouldn't be able to relate to it, but it at least lets me know I have somebody to talk to. But yeah, I can't really stress this enough. If I am DMing you on Discord and you're in the server and it's getting kind of dark, please understand I need someone to talk to. I mean, I think I really relied on at least you and Colin a lot through some of these dark moments. For Colin, it was more of the whole Pokemon part. For you, it was a lot more of the serious real life stuff. I mean, we have all kinds of fun conversations in the DMs, but that's kind of the gist of it.
Yeah, and it was cool, like, seeing not only you improve in your mindset, of course, like you said, real life stuff happens, things happen, but you did improve since season 1, and getting to know you two more this season was also fun. So I definitely am thankful that you joined. And, you know, you said Rio Grande Rapidash, you were thinking of retiring, but you didn't. I'm glad you didn't. And
yeah, I think if I had a worse season this season, like I went 3-7 or 1-9, I would have retired the name, and then I would be taking up the Clef Keyblades. But seeing as how I improved, we're at least going to get this name for one more season. Hopefully I just keep improving, and hopefully next season I go positive. So I'm shooting for at least 6-4.
Anything's possible. You just gotta keep that in mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much for joining. I think that's we're starting to get to the wrapping up portion. I don't know if you have any final thoughts. Any we did a lot. Very comprehensive.
Yeah, this was overall a pretty good season. I do look forward to season 3, even if a lot of the veterans don't return. I don't know what everybody's planning, but low key, I kind of have some crazy ideas that could really shake up future seasons, like Hitmonlee going up to tier 3. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. I have voiced my concerns about possible tier rises and tier lowers to at least you. And I know once you gather the brain trust again to hash them out, I'm pretty sure at least some of those will be brought up. Some I think will get shot down immediately, like, you know, banning Tapu Koko or Bulu or making them more expensive or something. But overall, yeah, I'm really looking forward to season 3, and who knows where we'll all be in the few months between now and then. Hopefully it's a few months, because I think some people are getting burned out, because it was like a month or two after season 1 ended. We were jumping into season 2.
Yeah, I'm kind of burnt out. I need a break.
I'm thinking probably at the earliest, probably like late October, maybe a November start, and that's for draft. But we'll see. We'll see where it goes for season 3. I have the fullest intention to apply for season 3, and who knows? Maybe with the okay, maybe I can be one of those color commentators who just comes in and does the color commentary, not the play-by-play, but, you know, brings in the jokes and breaking the ice. 'Cause I can be funny when I try.
Yeah, you definitely can. I've seen your streams too, so. But yeah, all right. Well, this is Rio Grande Rapidash, led by Ember, and that was a really awesome showing this season. I think you definitely did really well, and thank you for joining me for this team analysis. Of course,
thank you for having me.
Catch more team analysis coming up for the other playoff members of the league. And this is Noel from Sun and Friendly, joined by Ember from Rio Grande Rapidash. And I'll catch you in future team analysis videos.